It's
I'm-
5:15, so,
Mhm.
let's see here. Can we wait a little bit longer for Emily?
She had told me when I spoke with her that, don't worry, about, her attendance, and because she was uncertain about whether she'd be able to even get in, to the meeting because she was traveling back.
Okie dokie. Okay, so, I guess I will, open the meeting at 5:15. Making a motion to open. Roll
Second
call,
that.
Michelle Keith is his, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, that's okay.
Mm.
Michelle Keith, votes yes, is here. Roll call vote. Richard Romero, present?
Present.
Yes, okay. And Emily Michelle at the moment is not present. Okie dokie. So, we have, just the minutes of July 2nd, 2024. I wanted to just mention, if you go to page 2 and you go under the paragraph that says 5:32 PM, where it says discussion ensued with Gary Nichols. And then the second line there says Michelle about the public being closed. I think it means you got to insert public hearing
Okay,
there. Okay. And then on page 4, it says, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs down. It says Chair Michelle Keith made motioned to adopted the revisions. So I think it's just motion to adopt.
yeah.
I know you guys care a lot about this, so that's why I'm
No,
taking the
thank you.
time. And then page 5, the second to last sentence says homeowner feeling being for doing this twice.
Okay,
Yep, and then the final one. Page 7, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, under section C, the second paragraph under section C. Third sentence, it says Emily Michelle Olmsted would more time, I think it was would like more time and like to meet with the director.
okay.
So they're just little Scrivener's errors. I don't think we need any motion to make those changes, Chris.
I think it would be best to do it that way there's never a question in the future.
Okay, okie dokie. So, I make a motion to, basically make those changes, which are just a correction of, Scrivener's errors to the minutes from July 2nd, 2024.
I second that motion.
Thank you so much, Richard. Michelle Keith votes yes, and Richard?
I vote yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're over. Oh, we got to adopt the minute. We got to accept the minutes. Okay, so, I'm going to make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
And I second the motion.
Okay, Michelle Keith votes yes to accept them. Richard?
I vote
Your
yes.
vote is fantastic. So the minutes have been accepted, and now we can move to old business. Who is that? Who just joined? Let's see. Oh, nope. Okay. It does not look like that's Emily. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Elliot Dubem is here.
Okey doke. So what is your what are you here in reference to?
I put him on mute, at this point in time. I believe he's here from Macomb, for Gifford Ave.
From where? Oh, my,
From
okay.
Gifford Ave.
And in reference to that, just so you know, it's come to my knowledge that in reference to the 43 Maycomber Ave, a domestic animal permit, that there may be a conflict of interest in that case, so I will have to recuse myself from any votes on that in the future. Obviously, do you know what I'm saying? You're going to be given updates, but I'm going to be.
Okay, it is 39 Macomber Ave. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm confusing Gifford Ave with Macomber. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, hon?
No, I was just having a Westport error where I was merging Gifford and Macomber because the Macomber school's on Gifford Road, so forget that.
So,
Okay, the one I have to recuse myself from is old business section B, the
Okay.
43 Maycomber Road. Okay, just want to make sure that that's in the record. Okay, so, Chris, do you want to start, with, section A, give us an update on the Reposo plat 39, lot 11 at 709 Russell Mills Road, which is section A of the old business. It's the application for 30 chickens, 20 ducks, 1 peacock, and 12 geese. Was the notice of intent, filed with conservation?
It has been, yes. So
Okay.
the board's action at the last meeting did prompt a response by the applicant. They have filed. They did file a little bit after our deadline.
Okay.
He has filed and he is working with conservation. So all I would ask is for the board to vote to table the application again until
Okay.
our next meeting. And the reason why I want to keep it on a short, meeting to meeting tabling is because we want to see, if it stalls out in conservation.
Okay.
We talked about it internally, and conservation really is the lead because they have to permit the location suitability to protect the wetlands. Once they do
Okay.
that, then the board will look at the appropriateness for the location size for the number of animals requested.
Excellent, excellent. So, okay, then I will make a motion to table this into the next meeting. Can I have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, Keith votes yes. Richard, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So, going to section B, like I said, I have to recuse myself from any votes on this, but do you have an update on this, Chris?
So this was a new permit earlier in the year, and like all animal applications that the board does initially approve, we usually do such on a conditional basis for a short period of time to see how the keeping of animals impacts the surrounding area. So at this point in time, that application is temporary until the board votes to vote in the majority to for the remainder of the year to go to a full permit that then would be subject to annual renewals. So there would be nothing to prevent it from, except that at this point in time, with this meeting, we don't have a quorum. So we would have to address that at the next Board of Health meeting.
Okay, so since I'm recusing myself, what do we do in this situation?
It'll just go to the next board meeting,
Okay, so we don't have to make any motions or anything for that.
correct?
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris. And once again, I apologize, but I have to do that. So I guess we'd be moving on to C, which is Mackenzie Short, plat 80, lot 6 at 27 Pine Island Road to amend a domestic animal permit.
So that item was a
Yes.
permit amendment that the board conditionally approved based on a 6-month window to see how the additional animals played out. We had some concerns with it. There were some corrections that were made. We have gone out there to re-inspect within the last few weeks, and the animals are being managed appropriately, and we would recommend that a full permit be approved by the board.
That is wonderful. That's fantastic. So I would make a motion to approve a full permit for item C of old business, which is the Mackenzie Short plat 80 lot 6 at 27 Pine Island Road to amend the domestic animal permit.
I second that motion.
Okay, Michelle Keith votes yes. Richard, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Fantastic. That's great. So now let's see here. Where are we at? We're at D, Elio Dobem. It's plat 66. Gifford Avenue for a domestic animal permit for Webster. Hello, Elio.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Afternoon.
Good, good, good. So, Chris, do we have an update on this or?
So this is a new application for a rooster
Okay.
in a very densely settled area of town. The matter got brought to our attention as a result of a neighborhood complaint due to noise with roosters. Animal control's been out there a few times, really to keep roosters in densely settled areas so that they don't create noise and nuisances. to abutters or in the overall neighborhood, because noise can travel some distance. You have to go through some pretty extraordinary means of darkening out or coops without windows. And, animal control, when they discussed this with the applicant, it was reported to me that, the applicant didn't wish to undertake those measures and that he would just remove the rooster, which would then not require a permit. But the board does have an application. They do have to act. My understanding is that the rooster is still there because he didn't get rid of the rooster and was then intending to. But the applicant is here. So I think at this point it would be appropriate if the chair so sees fit to let the
Yes.
applicant.
Yes, we would love to hear from Elio. Elio,
Hey, how are you? So
hi.
I've had
How
the
are you?
rooster for almost about 2 years now. I never had it. In fact, I didn't even know that I needed a permit. And then animal control came out and saw the coop, and they wanted me to blacken out the lights and then go out there every night and go out there every morning and get the choke collar for him. It's not really my plan is to get rid of him, but I kind of want to voice my opinion because I thought that Dartmouth was a right to farm area, and I never had any problems with my rooster until this complaint. In fact, I didn't even know that I needed it. But to voice my opinions, that not trying to dishearten me or discourage me from having him, but I had set up a coop with windows, and if I blacken out the windows on 90-degree weather, those birds are all going to burn. Second thing is I got a solar door so that the coop is contained at night and I don't have to go out there every day to open the door. And what I got back from the email from the Board of Health was that I needed to go out every night and put a cup over the sensor and every morning remove the cup off the sensor for the door to open, which defeats the purpose of having a solar door. So just to voice my opinion and it be public record, it is discouraging when you have these type of requests to try to follow the rules, not knowing that it was a problem from the get-go for having them for 2 years, and then telling me to come down, file for a permit. I pay the permit fee, Board of Health and Animal Control come out, and they've only came out once. I just want to make that public record. There wasn't multiple times that they came out. In fact, she came 2 days ago before, or not yesterday, the day before to see if I still had him. But I paid the permit. I go to follow the rules, and then I get that email saying it's discouraging. And then after speaking to the Board of Health, they told me that even though I applied for a permit, that permit is going to be declined because I got a complaint. So if I knew that from the get-go, I would have never gone down to the board and applied for the permit and paid the $35. That's also the reason why I still have him.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad that you're expressing your opinion. That's what we're here for. Chris, can you explain a little bit more about this solar door stuff? I mean, this is the first time I've come across this in the almost 3 years that I've been on the Board of Health. What's the issue with the solar door?
So a solar door is great at keeping the animals in at night when predators are out and about to keep the animals safe. But in the summertime, when the sun rises very early in the morning, the solar door will activate and allow the birds out when many people are still sleeping with windows open. So,
Okay.
it has a function, but the function is not to, it's not related to noise nuisance.
Okie dokie. And now what about the whole idea if he darkens out the windows that the animals won't be safe?
Well, the chickens typically do not go inside during the day. They'll go in there at night to roost. And if, there's proper venting in the coop, the windows being darkened are not going to impact the nighttime temperature. Owning animals does have responsibilities. And, as Dartmouth continues to urbanize, we're seeing more and more conflicts. It's only been about 10 years that the board even considered and began to slowly allow roosters. Prior to that, the board had decades of not allowing roosters outright.
Oh, Chris, I realize I've seen and heard, Mr. Dobem, people get pretty riled up about the rooster issue. They don't like getting woken up in the morning by the roosters. Boy, you want to talk about complaints. This is one of the most riled up complaints we get here at the Board of Health. So we're not trying to be unreasonable or mean or put like unfair, demands on you. We're just trying to keep the peace and make sure that nobody gets hurt, that no humans get hurt in conflict and that the rooster stays safe. Because people get a little bit crazy about getting woken up early in the morning by the roosters. And it's our responsibility to make sure that that's not happening. So once there's a complaint, it makes it very difficult for us too, Do you think that there's any chance that you might be able to just keep them quiet in the morning?
I mean,
mean, they are
he usually
characters.
starts
They
crowing
become
about, he usually starts crowing about 6 o'clock in the morning. But I mean, my whole point is I got the complaint. They told me to go file the permit. I filed the permit, and then they told me before the board even happened that I wasn't going to get a permit because I already had a complaint. I mean, if they knew that from the get-go,
yeah,
would
but
it
no,
save me
we have
$35
complaints. No,
going to the Dartmouth to get
yeah,
that
but
permit?
Mr. Dobem, we get complaints all the time, and just because there's a complaint, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a permit.
That's what I
Okay,
was
we have
told
to.
from the Board of
Yeah,
Health.
yeah, that's. I mean, Chris, could you correct that?
Yes, I can. So
Yeah.
I will not recommend that the board consider a permit if the applicant is not undertaking measures to abate the potential for noise. I was out this morning in, 5 o'clock in the morning, taking a run, and I heard all of the roosters crowing well before 6, in another town. Yes, they'll continue, they'll crow a little bit past sunrise, but, the conflict exists, mostly in the summertime, May through, September, when people have their windows open and those roosters, the first crack of daylight, they're crowing. If an applicant isn't willing to take those measures to keep that rooster in an environment where they're not going to create noise for abutters, it would be in conflict with our regulations to issue a permit because it would be creating a nuisance.
So,
I
Mr.
I
Dobem,
would not recommend.
do you understand that's really sort of the way that we go about things? It's not an automatic denial. It's just what we're trying to do is keep the peace. We're trying to be like, can you have your rooster and can your neighbors be able to sleep? That's sort of what we're looking for.
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just hoping that you understand that, it's not the Board of Health's automatic policy to deny a permit if you've had a complaint. The whole
Yeah,
idea is
but
that
that's
we're
what I was
trying to
told.
balance a lot of different people's interest. You've got the people who don't want to get woken up, and then you've got the people who get attached to these critters, and they are
Yeah.
characters. You've had them for 2 years. He's part of your life. We
Yeah, I
try to,
understand that.
yeah, we're
It's
trying to
just that I
find.
was told that after I applied and they came down, the next day I got the email. And then when I called and spoke to the Board of Health, they told me that they spoke to the director, and because there was already a complaint, that they're not going to issue me a permit. So there was no point in coming to this board. So, I mean, if that decision was already made right from the get-go, I should have been notified before I even paid the $35 to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that if that's the way
Because
it
if it was
was,
just
that wouldn't make any sense. That
yeah,
wouldn't make any
I
sense
mean,
at all.
it was pointless at that point.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
yeah.
voice my opinions. He is
But I'm-
going to be, I am going to deal with him, and I am getting rid of him. I told the animal control the day before yesterday that I am going to get rid of him. I'm just trying to make arrangements for him to go to a
Okay.
farm.
Okie dokie. So I mean, I just want you to make sure that you understand where we're coming from. Do you know what I'm saying? That we do ask for people to make the changes so that the rooster won't wake up the people, so that we can keep the peace, you know. And it's not an automatic denial. It's just that we're looking for people to work with us, So now, Chris, in the event that the rooster is still there, what type of, should we table this until next month to give, Mr. Dobem a month to get rid of the rooster? Or, what's your advice as to how we should proceed?
You could table it with a time frame, but you could also take any other, the board can take an action. This is a permit that requires Board of Health approval.
Okay,
And you go back to, you have to meet the minimum standards of our regulations, and really those minimum standards are you can't create a nuisance. So
yes,
if the
yes.
board is intending to deny, then you could deny now, and you can give a time frame for that rooster to leave the property.
How long do you think it's gonna take you, Mr. Dobem, to find a place for the rooster?
I'm trying to secure a location. I found a farm in Acushnet that may be able to take him, so I'm just trying to make arrangements to get him in a pen.
Okay, and are you absolutely certain you don't want to make the changes?
I mean, if I black out the windows and I get him the choke collar, is that something that's gonna allow me to keep him?
Chris, doesn't that meet the requirements?
So what we do is if the board considers a permit for a rooster, it's always been conditional for a
Okay.
period of time where, we want to see if we get any more complaints and assess it.
Mr. Dobem, you want to try that?
Has there been any more complaints except for that one that was initiated this?
There was
Chris,
that
have there?
there was that one complaint, and we haven't had any since.
Awesome. So, Mr. Dobem, do you want to try it out?
Yeah, I can try that out. I'll get the choke
That's
collar
awesome.
for him and I guess black out the windows.
That's dynamite. That would be fantastic. So, I guess what we would do, Chris, is
So
make a motion.
I would just ask the board and any, if the applicant's willing to address the board's concerns, then, we've conditioned permits in the past. And that I would recommend that noise abatement measures be part of the permit, which would include, a crow collar to suppress the noise and to darken out the windows on the chicken coop, and that to be done within a certain time frame.
Okay.
And then
you
also
think- Go ahead.
limit the amount of roosters to one, and then also we would need to inspect at the end of the time frame for the compliance with the noise abatement measures. And like all the permits, we would do a 90-day conditional, and then if we don't have any further complaints, then it would just go on the board as old business, and then it would just renew if it's in compliance.
Okay, so the 90-day conditional is different than the first 30 days?
Well, we've always done, a period of time, like, 90 days, depending upon the time of the year. So we've never,
Okay.
I don't ever recall having done a 30-day conditional.
Okay, so this would be a conditional permit for 90 days.
Yes. And
Okay,
then there's gonna be a time frame to get those noise
the
suppression.
inspection, yes.
Don't want
No,
them going
Miss-
on, on the 89th day, I think something short term.
Yeah, the 30 days. Mr. Dobem, do you think that you can get the windows blackened out and get the collar within the next 30 days?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. That's fantastic. So Chris, do we need a finding for this? I can do a finding if you want that on the record.
That's at your,
Okay.
Well.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion here to approve a conditional permit for the 90 days. Knowing that within 30 days, there will be an inspection. Finding that Mr. Dobem has agreed to take some action for noise abatement, including getting the collar for the rooster to suppress the noise, blackening the windows, and that this permit would be for one rooster only, with the expectation that within 30 days, there'll be an inspection And then obviously the permit's conditional for 90 days and hopefully there aren't any more complaints. Is that adequate, Chris?
Yeah, for a finding, I wouldn't, I think you covered it all.
Okay, good. I just
One
want to make
question
sure.
also,
Yeah. go
does that
ahead.
mean that you'll also notify animal control because they just stopped by 2 days ago to see if I still had him?
Yeah, animal control works for Chris. So, you
Okay.
know what I'm saying, that it's within the department. So, animal control, Chris, it would be you or animal control or somebody within the department who would be doing the inspection in 30 days.
Correct, and they're
Yes.
aware of our ongoings.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully this is a happy ending. This would be fantastic. So I made that motion. Can I get a second for that?
I apologize. I was trying to unmute.
That's okay.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Richard. Michelle Keith votes yes. Richard, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Fantastic. I hope that everything works out, Mr. Dobam. Thank you for being willing to try.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye now.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Okey doke. So let's see here. The next thing we have is, are there any items that we did not know about 48 hours in advance?
None.
Okay. So I guess there's nothing else that we need to discuss? There's nobody else here on the call that is here to discuss anything. I suppose I can just make a motion to close the meeting at 5:41. Can I get a second? I'll adjourn the meeting. Sorry. I will say closing. Motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Fantastic. Michelle Keith votes yes. And Richard, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Dynamite. Fantastic. Everybody enjoy. I'll see you in a couple of weeks again.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye,
Take care
everyone.
now.